Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing well. It seemed like there for a while things were starting to get better, but now it seems to be like things are just reverting back to the way they were at the beginning of all this. And we're back to almost square one. At least where I live, things are starting to shut back down, and just feel like we're walking backwards almost. But it's easy to get discouraged in this chaos, get down, and just it's just easy to be negative in situations like this when we have every excuse for being negative with the way things are. I mean, it's very easy to point out things and how it's not fair and this and that and whatever. But the reality of it is if we're doing that, we're relying on ourself and the world for our happiness and instead of God, right? And just thinking about the situation that we're in the world, the way things are, this passage came to mind, and I just want to read it. It's very popular. It's a psalm. Most people have heard it at some point in their life. But I just want to go ahead and read it. It's only 6 verses. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. And we read that, and we all know that, and we've heard that before, but we don't really think about how powerful that actually is. I know sometimes I read that, I'm like, yeah, that's nice. When I'm in difficult times, God's there with me. But the reality of it is this person, David is saying, the Lord is my shepherd, and, in the good days and the bad days, he's my shepherd. And, no matter my situation, it says, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, not just on the good days, and on the bad days too. So when he's walking through the valley of the shadow of death, our flesh, if we're going through a situation like this, it's easy for our flesh to be negative. But this right here, it says, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. Goodness and mercy are following you even when you're in the valley. You're still having goodness and mercy in the difficult times in the world we're living in right now. If we look for it and we're relying on God and we're turning to him instead of things of this world, because it's easy to just get completely depressed and just deflated when you look at the world and you watch the news. And if you're relying on that to maintain your emotions, you're gonna fail. You're gonna be down. You're gonna be sad. You're gonna be upset and frustrated. But if you're relying on him, regardless of what situation we're at in the world, goodness and mercy are gonna follow you. And we all go through things and difficult times. I think we're all kind of sharing this burden. And I was just praying the other day, and I get down sometimes just like anybody else, right? And I was just praying, and I was thinking, God, help me to not rely on what's around me to make me happy. I don't want my physical emotions, the emotions that my flesh is experiencing, to drown out my spiritual joy that I get because you live inside of me, right? We have this amazing gift that we let get washed out by our flesh and its desires and what makes it feel good. But the reality of it is we have this unlimited source of joy inside of us, and if we learn to tap into that and rely on that above the world, we're going to find ourselves just in such a better state of mind, so much happier and just more pleasurable and just better off in every way when we learn to focus on that. And when we're going through the chaos of the world today, when you can just sit back and say, I have a God that loves me, I have a God that died for me, I have a God that wrapped himself in flesh and paid the ultimate sacrifice, and he knows what I'm going through, and he experienced worse, but he stayed faithful, and that's what I need to do. I need to, just persevere, get through this, and rely on God every step of the way. Look to his rod and his staff for comfort and not the world, because the world's going to fail you, but God is never going to fail you. And it's just important to think about this. I say this in almost every lesson that I teach. Just remind yourself of this. Go look back and write things down to just read through daily. Am I doing this today? Am I remembering that I have a God that loves me? When I'm depressed, am I reminding myself that I have God, right? Because it's hard to feel down on yourself when you think about the God that created the universe doing all of the things that he did for you, the sacrifices that he made just for you. Like, the fact that God knows your name and loves you and knows the amount of hairs on your head is such a beautiful, amazing thing. And it's hard for me to be depressed when I just sit and think on those things, right? It's just such a powerful thing. And don't underestimate the power of that sacrifice that he made, and just the power of reminding yourself about that. Because like I said, we get in ruts. We take those things for granted and we don't really think and weigh that out, how powerful that is. So if you're feeling down, you're feeling discouraged, just take a step back, remind yourself God is in control. Goodness and mercy are following me regardless of where I'm at in the world. If I'm letting God shepherd me and lead me in life, I'm not going to go wrong. I'm not going to feel this long-term depression and suffering. If I'm giving it to God, I'm going to feel goodness and mercy regardless of where I'm at.